Thank you for joining me, Ashwin Berry, on NMH at 1, where we highlight the news making waves in Namibia and beyond, ranging from current affairs to community stories, sports and economic news. Coming up in this broadcast, President Hage Geingob attends SDG Summit 2023. Namibia Athletes Commission hosts a two-day athlete workshop, and we look at the SA Tavern shootings. Follow all of our programs on oneup2.com or DSTV2 at 5 or GoTV 25 in Namibia. Midday news update coming up next. President Hage Geingob today joins other heads of state and government in participating at this year's Sustainable Development Goals Summit during the 78th United Nations General Assembly held in New York. This summit will mark the beginning of a new phase of accelerated progress towards sustainable development goals with high-level political guidance and transformative and accelerated actions leading up to 2030. Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia right after the break. Stay with NMH at 1.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment.
Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news.
Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
As well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
The Namibia Athletes Commission hosted a two-day Athletes 365 career and self-discovery workshop at Arebush Travel Lodge in Windhoek. Ingrid Boysen caught up with the chairperson, Michael Dierkman, who had this to say.
I'm Hage Geingob. I am part of the Athletes Commission, Namibian Athletes Commission. I'm the chair, and today we are here at Arebush Travel Lodge and we are hosting a two-day workshop for athletes. Currently we have around 30 athletes from all over the country who have joined us on this two-day program, and the workshop is hosted by the Athletes 365 educator Caddy Kadaute. She has arrived yesterday and she's leading this program, which is supported by the IOC to help athletes transition from their sport into the life after sport and finding a career. And these athletes are here now today and tomorrow to learn some skills and hopefully assist them to find a job after their sporting life.
My name is Ethan Snyder. I'm an elite triathlete from Walvis Bay. I'm here at Arebush for the Athlete 360 workshop. Today I learned a lot, but most important for me was that everyone is different. We each have our own strengths and weaknesses, so we can work together to perform better.
Hi, my name is Antionena. I'm a middle distance athlete, and today we are here at Arebush. We attended a career plus workshop, and it was very interesting. We learned a lot, mostly about self-awareness as well, and career guidance, transitioning from being an athlete, when you are done with athletics, what can you do after it, your input to society, what you can do to generate income, and just to be independent. And I will encourage my fellow athletes to attend this workshop next time because it's an icebreaker and eye-opening experience. So we thank you guys for bringing this. Please keep it up and thank you very much. Yes.
Namibian Sun leads us into the newspaper review segment on the other side of this break.
Good evening and welcome to Sunset News.
Dutch stays in list A in his speech, rate in taxes, and how much.
After the break, we take a look at the sports.
We bring you
Economic indicators, tomorrow's weather and sports. I am Aina Raiza Kweyong.
Let's get into the newspaper review. Namibian Sun reports on the horrendous story as a member of the Apostolic Faith Mission in Oshomise allegedly raped a 10-year-old boy at the pastor's house last Sunday. According to the boy's mother, he went to the pastor's house often as the man is also his godfather, and he spent the night there on 10 September. A member of the church who also stayed at the pastor's house that night allegedly told the boy to sleep next to him, and this is when the man apparently raped the boy. The boy reportedly informed the pastor of the incident the next morning, and according to the mother, the older man told the boy not to talk about it. The pastor has since strongly denied this. The pastor allegedly dropped the boy off at home, and the 10-year-old boy only told his mother about the incident later that day. On page 3, the paper reports that over the weekend, a 65-year-old pensioner was allegedly defrauded of over 700,000 Namibian dollars in Ongwediva. According to police reports, the man lost his identification card and it was subsequently used to replace his SIM card at MTC. An unknown suspect gained access to the victim's Standard Bank account and transferred 732,000 Namibian dollars from it, the report read. The money has not been recovered and no arrests have been made. Police investigations continue. Meanwhile, a security guard was arrested and charged with theft in Opu after he stole 2 wooden doors and a Y-bar sheet wire from a classroom at the Ochu Theba Primary School. The police have recovered the stolen material valued at 23,000 Namibian dollars. Cattle farmers are implementing drought-related marketing strategies to reduce herd numbers to better manage potential herd losses. This is indicated by the live exports of cattle, which showed an increase of 42.6% from the 15,577 cattle exported in July to 22,214 in August. This is an increase of 114.48% compared to what was carried out in the same month in 2022. According to the Meat Council of Namibia's monthly Market Watch report, this could imply that the majority of live exports went to feedlots in South Africa, while the rest was destined for farming and breeding purposes. Newly appointed Judge Moses Hungwe Chinengo will replace Cobus Miller as the presiding judge at the fish rot trial, scheduled to start in October. The Zimbabwean-born justice was sworn in as a judge of the High Court yesterday morning. He was appointed by President Hage Geingob in March this year on recommendation of the Judicial Service Commission. In the dispute over whether criminal prosecution of cannabis use is constitutional, the High Court is seeking mediation. Plaintiffs, ganja users of Namibia and Rastafari United Front express confidence. Another delay in the Ernst Joseph Lichtenstrasse trial means that the man accused of double murder will not be able to appear again in the Windhoek High Court until mid-October. The delay this time comes from the prosecution. Stay with us as we start with the Namibian after the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
The government is introducing a directive to subject non-profit organizations to sweeping regulations, a decision which reportedly has been met with fierce opposition from action groups. The new directive, led by the Financial Intelligence Center, mandates strict disclosure rules for non-profit organizations, such as revealing detailed information about donors, board members and beneficiaries, as well as the submission of annual returns as part of its mandatory FIC registration. On the paper's page 3, it is reported that the Windhoek City Council plans to convert 7 houses built between 1959 and 1960 in Katutura Township and Khomasdal into heritage assets and include them in the municipality's heritage register. These houses are to be identified in Herero, Damara, Nama, Owambo, Donkerhoek, Gemeente and Khomasdal areas. The focus will be placed on houses where very important people resided, such as political, educational and social icons. These houses, according to council minutes, will then be nominated as national monuments. In the face of rampant youth unemployment, inequality and increasing poverty levels, monies owed to the Namibia Students Financial Assistance Fund by employers must be written off. This is in no uncertain terms is a position being advanced by SWAPO lawmaker and Deputy Transport Minister Veiko Nekundi. A researcher Nekundi ventilated this in the National Assembly last week, advocating that the Namibia Students Financial Assistance Fund can be a tool government can use to promote entrepreneurship and employment creation. Nekundi called on the Assembly to discuss NASFAF loans being written off for beneficiaries who create employment for 10 or more people. The Ministry of International Relations and Cooperation yesterday formally apologized to the Okwanyama Queen, Martha Mwandinomo Christian Nelumbo, after she was offered a plastic chair to sit on at the funeral of the late Ambassador Hadino Hishongwa over the weekend. Deputy Minister of the Ministry of International Relations and Cooperation, Generally Matundu, earlier yesterday said the organizing committee must be able to explain what happened. Matundu acknowledged the disrespect shown to the Queen. The Agricultural Bank of Namibia has urged relevant stakeholders to safeguard food security by standing together and creating a more resilient and sustainable food supply chain. The food and non-alcoholic beverages category was the main driver of the 4.7% inflation rate recorded in August, according to the Namibia Statistics Agency. The category carries the second largest weight of 16.45% in the Namibia Statistics Agency consumer basket. The food and non-alcoholic beverages category recorded an inflation rate of 10% in August compared to 8.8% recorded in August 2022. Cattle farmers are taking on drought-related marketing to reduce the number of livestock on hand. We get into this in economic news shortly.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Cattle farmers are taking on drought-related marketing to reduce the number of livestock on hand to better manage possible herd losses, the Meat Board has said. This is indicated by live exports of cattle, which saw a 42.6% increase from the 15,577 cattle exported in July to the 22,214 cattle exported in August. This is 114.48% more than what was exported during the same month in 2022. According to the Meat Board's monthly market, this could imply that the majority of live exports went to the feedlots in South Africa, whereas the remainder went for farming and breeding purposes. The Meat Board said export abattoirs experienced an 8.98% increase in monthly slaughter from 10,702 heads of cattle in July to 11,662 heads in August. This is 156.19% more than what was slaughtered during the same month last year. According to the Meat Board, this could be attributed to drought-induced supply influenced by low rainfall experienced during the 2022-2023 rainy season. With an 80% chance of El Nino conditions expected to start between July and September, warmer and drier conditions are expected to be fueled by this phenomenon. Let's head into the indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 19.01 next to the US dollar, with 20.30 Namibian dollars getting you €1. Most selected NSX stock closing prices maintained their value. Overall index closed down 0.77%. Looking at commodities, copper made a downturn of 0.92%, whilst gold, platinum and Brent crude oil all made upticks. At least one person lost their life while 15 others sustained injuries during a tavern shooting in Mpumalanga this past Sunday. We return with this news from Africa after this break.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news both on the WTA for women's and
At least one person lost their life while 15 others sustained injuries during a tavern shooting in Kanyamazane located just outside Mbombela in Mpumalanga this past Sunday. Authorities have initiated a manhunt for two individuals believed to be linked to the incident. According to the provincial police spokesperson Donald Mdluli, the police are diligently pursuing a case of murder and multiple counts of attempted murder as they endeavor to piece together the grim puzzle of events that unfolded on that fateful Sunday evening. Meanwhile, the East Rand community in Johannesburg was left shaken after another tragic incident just the day before the Tavern, situated in the Ekurhuleni region of the Gauteng province. According to reports on Saturday night, assailants unleashed a hail of bullets on patrons seated outside a tavern. The ensuing carnage left 6 men dead and 1 individual seriously injured. Now, migrants make up about 10% of those known to have died when the floods hit Libya a week ago. The International Organization for Migration has told BBC News Libya is hugely popular with migrants. According to data from the IOM, which is a United Nations body, over 706,000 migrants lived in the North African country in February 2023. Some live and work in Libya long term, while others use it as a transit point in bids to reach Europe. 400 migrants were registered as having died in the floods, the IOM understands, although it says that this death toll is likely to change as bodies continue to be recovered. The IOM and World Health Organization have the wider confirmed death toll at 3,900. Derna was by far hit hardest by the floods. 2 dams burst amid heavy rains and swathes of city were submerged in water. We're talking about the political tiff between Canada and India as we swing over into international news.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Canada on Monday accused India's government of involvement in the killing of a Canadian Sikh leader near Vancouver last June and expelled New Delhi's intelligence chief in Ottawa in retaliation. The accusations, which India rejected as absurd, sent already sour relations between Ottawa and New Delhi to a dramatic new low. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau told an emergency session of the parliamentary opposition at mid-afternoon that his government had credible allegations linking Indian agents to the slaying of an exiled Sikh leader, Hardeep Singh Nijjar, in June in British Columbia. The involvement of any foreign government in the murder of a Canadian citizen on Canadian soil is an unacceptable violation of our sovereignty, Trudeau said. He called in the strongest possible terms on the Indian government to cooperate in clearing up the matter. Foreign Minister Melanie Joly said a senior Indian diplomat was expelled from Canada in connection to this, she said, without naming the official. Joly said the expelled Indian is the head of the Research and Analysis Wing, India's foreign intelligence agency in Canada. Nijjar, whom India had declared a wanted terrorist, was gunned down on June 18 in Surrey, a suburb in Vancouver that is home to a major Sikh community. The Italian government, struggling with a surge in migrant arrivals, will pass measures on Monday to lengthen the time migrants can be held to ensure more people who have no right to stay are repatriated, officials said. The move comes after almost 10,000 migrants reached the southern Italian island of Lampedusa last week, dealing a blow to the credibility of Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who won office last year vowing to curb illegal immigration. In a bid to regain the initiative, the cabinet was set to lengthen the time migrants awaiting repatriation can be detained to up to 18 months from 3 at present, officials said. Ministers will also approve the creation of more detention centers in isolated areas. Under Italian law, migrants facing repatriation can be held if they cannot be immediately expelled. More than 127,000 migrants have arrived in Italy so far this year, according to government data, almost double the figure for the same period of 2022. Stay with us as we head into local sports news after the break.
E-ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
The BDO Namibian Open Squash Championship starts this afternoon at Wanderers in the capital, where among others, Dene van Zyl will defend her 2022 Open title. Amateurs will compete in the A and B divisions for men and women. Van Zyl, then 15 of the Western Province, defeated Sharon Chifwembe of Zambia in 3 sets in the final in September 2022. She forced Chifwembe to surrender 11-2, 11-6 and 11-4 to become the youngest player to win the Open title. Van Zyl was then the South African national under-17 squash champion. Life Fighters Football Club today announced that their replicas are expected to be in Namibia in 2 weeks' time. The message comes after football fans inquired about the new replicas, which the club unveiled about a fortnight ago. Club spokesperson Terry Uyamba is confident that the team will receive stock, and the fans have been encouraged to remain patient while the much-anticipated jerseys arrive. The club's move was inspired by the fact that they wanted a new look in order to drive their marketing strategy in a bid to professionalize and make the club a commercial brand. The 4th Bank Windhoek match day of Fistball League took place at SFC. CFC1 secured first place in the National League A, while SKW2 also defended its lead in the National League B, even after a defeat against SFCA. SKW also remains in the lead in the under-18 category, with a flawless record of 3-3-0 wins. The reigning champions, CFC1, underlined their title ambitions in the National League A. We talk South African football as we swing over into international sport.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Now, Cape Town Spurs face equaling one of the DStv Premiership's most unwanted records if they lose again on Tuesday and suffer a 6th successive defeat from the start of the season. Spurs are up against the Lamontville Golden Arrows at the Athlone Stadium, still looking for their first points of the season after being beaten in their opening 5 matches of the new league season since their promotion up to the DStv Premiership. Italy head into Wednesday's World Cup match against Uruguay in the knowledge that the South Americans will likely have targeted them rather than Pool A heavyweights France and New Zealand. The Italians kicked off their campaign with a 52-8 victory over Namibia, while Uruguay were combative against a second-string France before going down 27-12. Liverpool will approach the Europa League in the right manner and have the squad depth to be successful in both the Premier League and Europe's second-tier competition, manager Jurgen Klopp said. 6-time European champions Liverpool have missed out on the Champions League for the first time since Klopp's first full season, 2016-2017. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we'll get into the highlights from today's broadcast right after this.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. replay Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Let's get into the news highlights. Migrants make up about 10% of those known to have died when floods hit Libya a week ago, the International Organization for Migration has told BBC News. Canada accused India's government of involvement in the killing of a Canadian Sikh leader near Vancouver last June and expelled New Delhi's intelligence chief in Ottawa in retaliation. And the BDO Namibian Open Squash Championship starts this afternoon at Wanderers in the capital, where among others, Danae van Zyl will defend her 2022 Open title. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia.